my greatest happiness and joy to be able to be here live with all of the devotees. There is such an august group of listeners and relishers that I almost feel a little bit overwhelmed, but it's so nice. It's like a family reunion every Ekadashi. We get to come together and we see more and more of our family. And so I feel fortunate that Ekadashi has fallen on a weekend, because I feel like that just, it brings more of us together and it gives us the excuse to speak longer, talk more, just keep the kata flowing on and on. And like you said, this is our nectar. Ekadashi is austerity, but for us, it is such a grand, incredible celebration of nectar and feasting on the pastimes of our dear Supreme Lord. So thank you, thank you, thank you for having me. Thank you all for being here. Without further ado, Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Shtapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Swapadantikam. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. And because this is a Srimad Bhagavatam gathering usually, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. I want to talk today about faith as a superpower. Do we have faith? Do we believe with as much of our hearts as possible? Maybe not all of our hearts, right? But do we believe with as much of our hearts as possible in what we've been hearing or in what we've been told? Do we have faith? Have we strengthened this superpower? I will begin with a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, because of course, what would these Srimad Bhagavatam lectures be without the glory of Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam, the king of all literatures? So this is from the first canto, chapter 7, text 7, 177. Yasyang ve sruyamanayam Krishne paramapurushe Bhaktir utpadyate pungsa shoka moha bhayapaha. Translation: simply by giving oral reception to this Vedic literature, the feeling for loving devotional service to Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, sprouts up at once to extinguish the fire of lamentation, illusion, and fearfulness. Once again, simply by giving oral reception to this Vedic literature, the feeling for loving devotional service to Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, sprouts up at once to extinguish the fire of lamentation, illusion, and fearfulness. Do we believe? Do we have faith? Srimad Bhagavatam itself is saying this is possible. Shukadeva Goswami is saying not only is this possible, it is probable, it is promised. Narada Muni says so many times, this is possible, probable, absolutely promised. Srila Prabhupada has come to say, this is possible for you. not for a pure devotee somewhere out in the realms of Vaikuntha Loka and spiritual abodes. This is possible for you, me, all of us, here, right now on this earth, in this material creation. Do we believe it? Do we believe in this, in the power of this oral reception? Just by receiving Srimad Bhagavatam through the ears. Maybe we aren't able to read for long periods of time, but we can hear. Do we have faith in these gatherings? That these particular gatherings of us coming together on mornings, evenings, midday, wherever you are in the world, this can change our lives. Do we believe that it can sprout up at once and extinguish the fire of lamentation, illusion, and fearfulness? It can. It does. We are given unlimited examples. One very wonderful example, one amazing exemplary being who really personifies the fact that faith is a superpower is Sri Hanuman. As Ram Navami just passed and as Hanuman Jayanti is coming on the full moon, what would we do without Hanuman? What kind of bhakti would we have without Hanuman? So I'd like to go on a little bit of an exploration of the glories of Hanuman. They are a little bit endless, so we might not get through very many of them, because Hanuman's activities and glories are as boundless as his own movements are. He is able to jump through all kinds of pastimes. He is known as a Chiranjeevi, very, very long-lived, pretty much immortal. There are 7 or 8 such long-lived personalities. Vyasadeva is one of them, the great author of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Vibhishan, the brother of Ravan, who we will hear about in a moment. The brother of Ravan, who Sri Ram came to vanquish, was also one of these long-lived beings. Hanuman is a Chiranjeevi, a great long-lived being. One thing that we know about demons, like Ravan, they often want to become immortal, isn't it? They're always performing some sort of austerities to become immortal, to cheat death, to get out of death's clutches, and to somehow gain the longest life possible. But many of these Chiranjeevis have gained immortality in a different way. How do devotees gain immortality? Vibhishan's a devotee. Vyasadeva is a devotee. Hanuman is a great devotee. The 4 Kumaras are long-lived and they're great devotees. How do they obtain immortality? Is it because of the strength of their tapasya? Is it because of some hidden benedictions that they received that we may not know about? What is the deal? How is it that these devotees were able to gain such long lives and the demons are clamoring after this immortality, but they can't get it? Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita speaks about a kind of immortality that is possible for us, all of us. Ready? Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita speaks about the glorious service of Madhavendra Puri. And in speaking about the glorious service of Madhavendra Puri, they speak about how he was always absorbed and steeped in his devotional service, even within his mind. Sometimes that was the only way he was serving, just deeply within his mind. And guess what? That was enough for Krishna. That was enough for Krishna to bless Madhavendra Puri personally. That was enough for Krishna to appear to Madhavendra Puri personally. Service within the mind counts. Why? Because faith is a superpower. This faith that we have in Krishna consciousness, in Bhakti Yoga, begins to make all of our activities glorious. It begins to move the many, many mountains of obstacles that maybe we'll talk about later if we're able to get to it. But Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita speaks gloriously that when Madhavendra Puri was overwhelmed in the ecstasy of love of Godhead, he sometimes stood up and sometimes fell to the ground. Sometimes he laughed and danced and sang. And he somehow did not care about what others would think about him. He got so wrapped up in thinking about Krishna that he kind of lost all care for what others would think. This is going to be important in just a moment. And so he was no longer thinking about, oh, what are they going to think if they see me dancing and singing? What are they going to think if they see me chanting? I can't chant while walking in the street because other people will think I'm a little bit weird or a little bit off or a little bit crazy. I kind of love living in New York because New York is one of those places where anything goes, right? There are so many, you see videos and all kinds of people and they're posting all kinds of memes. It's like just New York, New Yorking. And the amount of weird things that happen in New York is astounding. You can see all kinds of stuff. There's an owl that has escaped from the Central Park Zoo, and now it is just living its best life, roaming around Central Park and taking up rats as prey. There was one time they said that there was somehow a surplus of raccoons in Central Park, and I was thinking, there's also a snow leopard in Central Park. It seems like they would balance each other out eventually if we were smart. But so, all of this, right? Concrete jungle, the amount of weird things that happen in New York gives me hope. Because I can chant on a subway. I can chant walking down the street. And if people think that I'm talking to myself, that seems par for the course for New York. Everybody's going through something here in New York, and everybody's doing a variety of random, wonderfully weird things, sometimes strange things. You get people singing on subways and all kinds of things. So Madhavendra Puri didn't care. I think this is the great blessing of being in New York. New York teaches you to not care so much about what you wear, about what you look like, about how others are perceiving you. Because here everybody's doing something. So Madhavendra Puri started to not care. One thing he did care about was he had been previously in a place called Remuna, and he had received a unique blessing from the deity there. He wanted to make sweet rice, this amritakeli, for his very own personal deity of Sri Gopal, who is now Srinathji, held in Natwar. But at this point, Sri Gopal, Srinathji, was being housed in a beautiful temple on Govardhan Hill because he is the lifter of Govardhan Hill. And so Madhavendra Puri was in Remuna, and he thought, this deity of Gopinath here is so beautiful and astounding and wonderful, and he's being offered sweet rice in 12 earthen pots, and this sweet rice is said to have contained the sweetness of the spiritual abode itself. I wish I could make some for my Gopal, and if I could just taste a little bit, I would be able to figure out how to make it. This, for pujaris, I know firsthand, this is actually kind of something that is true. Krishna begins to endow pujaris with special abilities. And sometimes you realize after cooking for the Lord for a certain amount of time, sometimes you can taste other preparations and realize, this has this ingredient and this ingredient and this ingredient. You can taste the different ingredients within a certain preparation. And so Madhavendra Puri was thinking, if I could just taste this sweet rice once, I'll be able to make it for my Gopal. And then he thought, oh no, I have decided, or I have desired to taste something which is meant for the Lord, and he has not yet been offered it. This is a great offense. And so he left that place. However, Gopinath, knowing the desires within the hearts of everyone, which I think is a fitting story to tell on a day like Kamada Ekadashi, because Kamada means the fulfiller of all desires. This Ekadashi fulfills all desires. And so, friends, I encourage you to think of your heart's desires. Krishna is seated within everyone's hearts, and he already knows what's happening there. So feel free to open up your hearts and see how Krishna and Sri Ekadashi Devi somehow employ their magic to fulfill those various desires in the way that is best for us, in the way that works for our highest good. Sometimes we have desires and we could not fathom how they would be fulfilled. And when Krishna fulfills them, it is a miracle, something greater than we could have ever asked for, like Dhruva even. So Madhavendra Puri had thought, I wanted to taste this sweet rice, and this is an offense. I should leave this place. However, Gopinath appears to the pujari. As the pujari has finally offered the Lord a sweet rice right before bed, takes the offering away, puts the Lord to rest, the pujari goes to sleep, and in sleep, the pujari gets darshan of Gopinath, who says, "O pujari, I have hidden a pot of sweet rice. This sweet rice is meant for Madhavendra Puri. Go and find him immediately." The pujari goes and takes a look behind the altar of the deities and finds, of course, this one pot of sweet rice. He goes running, yelling to Madhavendra Puri, "Oh, Madhavendra Puri, please come see. Come see the sweet rice that the Lord has stolen for you. Please come see this miracle that our Lord has performed just for your benefit." Madhavendra Puri says, "Well, why are you yelling? You've called me." "Yes, come take this sweet rice. Gopinath said you wanted this sweet rice, and so he stole it, held it back just for you." And forever and ever and ever, this deity was now known as Kirchor Gopinath, not just Gopinath. Kirchor Gopinath. Gopinath was the stealer of Kir, that sweet rice. He changed his name for forever in connection with the devotional service of Madhavendra Puri. How amazing is our Krishna? That Krishna will have pastimes with us and then change his name maybe. "I will forever be known as this Gopinath who has stolen sweet rice just for you." Madhavendra Puri thinks, oh, how incredibly fortunate. However, once others hear about this, they will begin to offer me all kinds of respect and all kinds of things that I should leave. This is how Madhavendra Puri gets to be singing and dancing his way to Jagannath Puri. However, Chaitanya Charitamrita says, when Madhavendra Puri came to Jagannath Puri, people were aware of his transcendental reputation. Therefore, crowds of people came and offered him all sorts of respect in devotion. Even though one may not like it, reputation as ordained by Providence comes to him. Indeed, one's transcendental reputation is known throughout the entire world. Being afraid of his reputation, or pratishta. Now, pratishta is the pride in the reputation. This prideful reputation, this pratishta. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur uses a very, very graphic example that my own Gurudev likes to recite and repeat. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says that this pratishta, this pride in the reputation, so not just the reputation, but now once we start really taking pride in the reputation of them, you're right. You are right about all the things that you've said about me. Look at what amazing things I've done. However, we know Madhavendra Puri was not thinking like this, but we might have the tendency to think like this. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says that this indulging in this pratishta is like taking the stool of a boar and smearing it all over our bodies. I said it was graphic. I tried to put a disclaimer. It was going to be graphic. It was going to be really weird. But this is this pratishta. And so we might be thinking, well, why was Madhavendra Puri so eager to get away from it? Because this was his understanding. That this pratishta, if he gave himself over to it, and if the pride overtook him, it would be like taking the stool of a boar and smearing it all over your body. Many of us like to be as far away from stool as humanly possible. right? Like, I think this is something that we can all agree on. And I'm not talking about purified cow dung. I'm talking about everything else, right? All of the other stools, including our own, right? My Gurudev says, is, you flush it down the toilet, you don't look back. You try to get as far away from it as possible. You try not to even talk about it with the people that you care about. Like, you really gain a closer relationship with somebody when you start talking about like bowel movements. Those are the people that you really are deeply connected with. Like, you're not like on the street, like, you know what? Talking about like even when you go to the doctor and the doctor's asking you like, okay, is there constipation, is there, or you have to have like a colonoscopy, and so you've got to clear everything out. You don't even want to talk about it with the doctor. Like, like we're not that close, you and I, doc. And so we try to keep ourselves separated from all of this. This is what Madhavendra Puri is trying to do with this Pratishta. He wants to keep himself separated from it. One of my dear friends and god sisters is saying, Gurudev loves to use stool analogies, and he really, really does. He really does. I know that the lecture is getting good, and he's getting really into it when he starts using stool examples, and he uses them often. There was one lecture I was listening to. He said, we could spend the whole lecture talking about stool, but sometimes we can categorize them into two types. And I'm thinking, Guru Maharaj, what is happening? But it's such an interesting thing to think about. We spend our lives trying to get away from it, and really, this material world is made up of so many different kinds of eventually what will be stool. And we spend our lives building it up, to be something that it's not, something different. So Madhavendra Puri was trying to get away from this pratishta, right? This boar dung, like as far away from it as possible. However, one's transcendental glories and reputation seem to cling to a person. So even though one may not like it, one's transcendental reputation is known throughout the world. Being afraid of his reputation, Madhavendra Puri fled from Remuna. But the reputation brought by love of Godhead is so sublime that it goes along with the devotee as if following him. When we start diving deep into love of Godhead, that reputation follows us. So all of this to say, why did I tell this long story? Chiranjivas, how can we gain immortality? By diving deep into transcendental service. And then we become immortal through that service. Madhavendra Puri is immortal. We are still talking about him 500 years later. He becomes a beacon of transcendental love of Godhead through his devotional service. The Kumaras, how are they immortal? How is Vibhishan immortal? How is Hanuman immortal? Through their devotional service. This devotional service goes along with a person and follows them like a shadow. One of our friends says, like a sweet fragrance. This is the fragrance of our beloved. One time, one great Acharya, Pundrik Goswami, he's a great Acharya of Radharaman Temple. He was giving a lecture, and he said, when we go to meet a beloved, sometimes when you go to meet a lover, maybe if you have not had this experience, a loved one, sometimes we think, oh, my loved one enjoys this fragrance the most. And then we put that fragrance on. Now everyone around us on our way from where we were to our beloved can smell that fragrance, but we know who it's really meant for. This is our devotional service. Our devotional service is the fragrance of our beloved. We put it on because we know our beloved loves it so much. Now everyone around us can see that devotional service, but we know who it's really meant for. We know the internal reason of why we have adorned ourselves with such devotional service, why we might even accept others praising us. It is because we understand this is only because of the transcendental loving service to my Lord. In this regard, Hanuman has a very loving, happy story. Once, he saw Mother Sita applying sindoor which is a bright red vermilion. And he thought, "Oh mate, why are you applying this sindoor?" And she would apply it to the parting in her head, and sometimes to the juncture where her throat and neck meet. This area right here where the tilak is, that one. And so he says, "Oh mate, why are you applying this sindoor? What is this?" She says, "Well, this gives pleasure to my Lord Ram, and I put it on to gain a long life for my Lord." So he thought, "Oh, this makes Lord Ram happy? Okay, say less," right? Hanuman is the originator of say less. He goes and he applies some sindoor. He gets this bright red vermilion and he applies it. But in true Hanuman fashion, he applies it all over his body until Hanuman is bright red orange. And then he walks into the assembly of Sri Ram. And Sri Ram is there with so many council people and assembly members and all of these important dignitaries. And in walks Hanuman in his very own way, Jai Sri Ram. And everyone is thinking, what's happening? What are you doing? But Sri Ram knows. And he is so endeared by Hanuman's devotion. And Hanuman says, "Oh, my Lord Ram, I saw Sita Mata. She was applying sindoor and she said that this would ensure your long life and this would bring joy to your heart. And so look, does this bring joy to your heart? Are you happy? Are you pleased with me?" Sri Ram says, "Hanuman, I am always pleased with you. Always. How could I be anything but pleased with you?" This is Hanuman. Madhavendra Puri did not care about what others thought of him. And sometimes we need to have this quality when performing our devotional service, because sometimes devotional service can seem a little bit weird. Sometimes it can seem a little obsessive. We might even have family members who are saying, "Why are you so into this spiritual life? You have to do so many other things. You've got obligations and regulations and all these things. And you can't be so spiritual right now." And sometimes we think, but all I want to do is be spiritual. Sometimes we have to continue on by hook or by crook, in secret, hiding it, whatever it is, but we have to be willing to not care. This is the whole reason for Hanuman's advent. This starts on Mount Kailash. There was a ruckus. Such a kirtan was being performed on Mount Kailash. A kirtan like no one had ever seen. Lord Shiva, Mahadev, was dancing, singing, playing his damru drum. And he was chanting, "Ram, Ram, 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 Ram." Finally, Bhavani and all of the attendants came. "What's happening? Oh, Mahesh, what is this? What are you singing?" Mahesh looked around. "Because all of you are my dearest associates, I will tell you all a secret. My Lord is about to take an unprecedented form. He will be born as the son of a king named Dasarath. He is going to destroy this demon Ravan, and he has asked each and every one of the demigods to assist him. I will also go to assist him." His dear wife Bhavani was looking, "Oh, how will you go to assist him?" Lord Shiva says, "I will go in a form that I've never before taken. So many of the demigods are appearing in Vanara forms as monkeys. I will also go as a monkey." Bhavani is thinking, but monkeys are a little strange. Sometimes they're not even considered cute. Like, they can look weird, and so Lord Shiva says, "But this is exactly why I will go as a monkey, an incredibly powerful monkey, because I want to be able to do anything and everything for the service of my Ram, and I don't want to care about what anyone else thinks." Monkeys don't care. They really don't care. If you have ever been to Vrindavan, you will understand how much they do not care about what you have going on. They want what they want, and they'll do whatever they do to get it. They will find it out. They are like thieves and like gangs, and they run this place. They will do whatever it is to get what they want. What does Lord Shiva want? Devotional service. What does Lord Shiva want? To make his Lord happy. And so he says, I will take the form of a monkey. I will do whatever it takes to bring glory to my Lord Ram. I will do whatever it takes to be the best servant of Sri Ram. Bhavani says, can I come with you? And Lord Shiva says, no, I don't think that this is a good idea for you to come with me, because I'm going to be doing a lot of strange things. It's going to be very weird and unprecedented. And this Ravana has a reputation for stealing people's wives. I don't want to put you in this kind of predicament. Ravana had previously been stealing so many people's wives. It was said that he invited all of the devas to a fire yajna that he was performing, because Ravana was also actually an incredible Brahmin. One of the foremost, one of the most intelligent Brahmins there was. He was the son of the sage Vrishravas, who was also the father of Kuvera, the god of wealth. And so they said that there was no one who was able to pronounce Vedic scriptures like Ravana at the time. He was perfect in his pronunciation, perfect in his performance of yajnas. And so he performed a big yajna. The devas told Agni, you shouldn't go. Agni said, but I have to go. I am the Lord of Fire. How can there be a yajna without me accepting all of these things? Lord Brahma, so many of the devas said, okay, well, if you must go, don't take your wife. Agni Dev said, why? He said, because Ravana is very prone to stealing other people's wives. And when he doesn't steal them, so many others run off to run away and be with him as his concubines. He was so handsome that celestial women were running off just to be his mistresses. Don't take your wife. Agni Dev says, well, what am I without my wife, Swaha? And now we know, whenever we are on a fire yajna, when we are calling upon Swaha, why? Because it is the wife of Agni. So, what is a fire yajna without the potency of the husband? Is the wife. I said, don't take your wife, we're telling you. He said, I have to. He takes his wife. Agni arrives, Swaha arrives, the yajna is going on. Ravana looks at Swaha, takes a liking to her, and kidnaps Swaha. Agni Dev is very upset. He kidnapped my wife. The Deva said, we told you. He's doing what he does. He has a problem. We told you, don't go. And if you do go, don't bring your wife. You brought your wife. She got kidnapped. What can we do? And so Lord Shiva says, I don't want to put you in this predicament. Better you stay here. Bhavani says, but I don't want to tolerate separation from you. So I've come up with a solution. If you are going to go and you are going to take the form of a monkey, the wife is the ornament of the husband. And so I will be your ornament. And the ornament on a monkey is their very beautiful tails. I will come as your tail. What do you think? Shiva says, Bhavani, this is a wonderful proposition. I agree. Let's go. And so Lord Shiva takes the form of Hanuman, who has a glorious, beautiful, mystical, power-filled tail, who is none other. This is the combined form of Shiva and Shakti. How incredible is Hanuman? Ready and willing to do anything and everything in order to please Lord Ram. And he has one mantra. Ram, 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 Ram. With this mantra, he is able to cross seas, to lift mountains, to increase his size, to decrease his size. Faith was Hanuman's superpower. Do we believe? We have been given one mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Do we dare to believe that this one mantra can help us do anything in the service of our Lord? Do we have faith that it can give us superpowers? I've been recently chanting with the hope of increasing that faith. I know I don't have it, because I'm constantly looking for some other mantra to relieve me of something, right? I am saying Nishringa Kavachas and Narayan Kavachas and so many Kavachas and this Kavacha, that Kavacha, so many different prayers. And prayer is a superpower. I've been given an empowered mantra from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself, passed down. Gaur Govinda Maharaj says that this Maha Mantra is Radharani's own Tantra, her own method of worship. This very Maha Mantra. We are looking for the crest jewel of all kinds of things. We are looking for magic in this wretched, magic, barren, bereft place. Right? This is why we love fantasy. This is why we like Lord of the Rings and all of these, and Harry Potter and all of these things, because there's the promise of magic. And we have magic in the holy name. There are so many people who have been able to perform all kinds of miracles just on the strength of the holy name. Chaitanya Charitamrita is filled with stories of magic that is being performed just on the strength of the holy name. And I am thinking it is just another mantra. I am thinking I need something more. So I've been recently trying to chant with the realization that this Maha Mantra can fulfill all desires. Do we have faith in it? Can I develop that faith like Hanuman? Can I look into the glorious life of Hanuman and watch how he just chanted the name of Ram, 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 and lifted a mountain? Not once, but many times. Maybe I'll end with this one about faith moving mountains. As Sri Ram wanted to cross the sea into Sri Lanka in order to save Sita Devi, they had to build a bridge. Once again, with faith in the name of Sri Ram, they wrote the name of Ram upon stones, and those stones floated miraculously. Still, to this day, they're floating. The floating stones of Setubanda. In South India. I mean, it's there. It's there. All of the evidence is still there. Still floating. And as all of the Vanara soldiers and all of these monkey warriors were gathering stones, many of these stones, because there was a large portion of the ocean that they had to cross, many of these stones were big boulders. Hanuman was picking up mountain peaks left and right. It is said that he picked up one such peak, which was one of the peaks of Mount Sumeru. And this mountain peak had been separated from its family. Yes, mountains have families. Mountains have personified forms, and mountains are persons, because everything is personified. How incredible. So this mountain peak had been separated from its family, and it was residing in a very different place. Hanuman picked it up and was carrying it. And then all of a sudden he got a message. Oh Hanuman, oh son of the wind god, oh Pavanaputra, we've built enough bridge. We don't need any more mountains. Hanuman thought, oh, we don't need this mountain. My job is done. Okay. And he went to go put the mountain back down. But the mountain began to cry. Hanuman thought, oh friend, why are you crying? What's happening? And the mountain said, I've been separated from my family, and now you will put me down in a different place. And I was going to be served. I was going to give some service to Sri Ram, and now I can't give anything. I won't have the opportunity to serve. All I wanted, that would have been the perfection of my life. I would have been able to tolerate being separated by my family if I could give some service to the Lord, but now I won't get either. Now what do I do? Oh Hanuman, you are supposed to be a friend of those who want to serve Lord Ram. Help me. Hanuman thought, this is a very grave problem. How could I have done this to this poor mountain friend? Let me meditate on my Lord Ram and see what happens. So Hanuman, still holding the mountain, meditates on Lord Ram. He appears before Lord Ram with the mountain in tow. He says, "Oh Ram," he explains the whole situation. "What can I do? Please, my lord. You are an abode of compassion." They say, Hanuman says, Lord Ram is so kind and his face is so glorious because his heart is overflowing with compassion. Ram means that you are a reservoir of all pleasure. Please help my mountain friend. He's been separated from his family and all he wants to do is give some service to you. And now the bridge has already been built and I have to put him back and I don't know what to do. He's crying tears because he just wants to serve. Ram says, I have a very, very easy solution. I cannot bless you now, but I give you a benediction that in the very next yuga, I will come back and I will fulfill all of your desires. See? See this Ekadashi, right? Kamada Ekadashi, right? Okay. Hanuman says, Jai Shri Ram. The mountain is very happy. Jai Shri Ram. I accept your benediction. They tell Hanuman where to place this mountain. Hanuman goes to a very, very special place and puts the mountain back down. This mountain becomes known as Kamagiri. Kamagiri means the mountain who can fulfill all desires. This mountain is also known by another name, Govardhan Hill. This Govardhan Hill is the king of mountains, who is fulfilling all the desires of all of the cows and all of the residents of Vrindavan and Krishna himself. And so, on the strength of Sri Ram's benediction, this mountain, who could not give service, gives service to Sri Krishna in a million different ways. This mountain has many, many caves that Lord Krishna and all of his friends play in. It has streams of water that the Lord drinks from. The Lord walks all over this mountain all day. And just as that mountain could not perform service, it now performs service to Sri Krishna. 7 days, 7 nights, Sri Krishna holds that mountain with the pinky of his left hand, personally contacting this mountain for so long. This is Govardhan. So, do we believe in this Ekadashi that can fulfill all desires? Do we have faith in the holy name which can fulfill all desires? Do we have faith in Govardhan which can fulfill all desires? Shri Krishna is seated there within everyone's hearts, and even if we think our desires are not worthy of being spiritualized, ask anyway, because Krishna can make all things possible. He can make all the roads meet. Sometimes it takes a while. This mountain, a whole yuga. Jai. I feel as though when we have this eagerness to serve and this eagerness to have faith, even if we don't have it, just the desire to have faith is enough. We get personal darshan of Shri Krishna, as is evidenced by this blowing of the conch shells. How incredible is our Krishna? How wonderful are the devotees of Shri Krishna like Hanuman, who have come just to show us, just have faith. Just continue having faith in the holy name. It will give you everything. It will give us all the magic that we are hoping for, and the association of great devotees, and the association of the Lord himself. Shri Radha Murlidhara ki jai. Shri Gaura Chandra ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. All glories to our Lord who appears every day just to fulfill all our desires in a million different varieties. Shri Krishna is the best he is Akila Rasamrita Murti. He is the best at reciprocating. He was able to reciprocate with Hanuman, with Sugriva, with all of the monkey soldiers. He was able to give all protection to to Hanuman. And Hanuman understood, this protection is coming from Sri Ram. On my own, I can't do anything. And that was his thought. On my own, I can't do anything. But by the grace of his guru Jambavan, and on the strength of the name of Sri Ram, he can do anything. On the strength of the blessings of our gurus, And with the strength of the holy name, we can do anything and thus become immortal. Our devotional service will follow us around like a shadow, like a fragrance. It will not leave us, even lifetime after lifetime. Hanuman goes through so many different pastimes. He came in contact with Govardhan. Our amazing services will follow us even throughout lifetimes, and Krishna will remember them. Krishna will remember, that is my person. And they've performed so many different services for me, and that is all I see. Krishna is not looking at all of the horrible things that we might have done. We are. And we seem to remember those. We cling to the memory of, I don't know what horrible things I must have done, but I must have been horrible. And how can I surrender to Krishna because I'm so horrible? Because I might not be born in such an attractive form, or I might not be born in such a great place, or I might not be. Hanuman was a monkey. So many people throughout so many pastimes, you insignificant monkey, they would call him. Ravana would call you insignificant wretch. You funny looking, weird looking monkey. Like, they hurled all kinds of insults at Hanuman. Hanuman didn't care. And all throughout the millenniums, Hanuman is so beautiful. He is glorious. Hanuman Chalisa describes that he has divine shining earrings. They are divine. He has beautiful curling dark hair. Hanuman is made attractive because of his devotional service. We adore Hanuman. Just looking at him makes you happy, doesn't it? Just looking at Hanuman, just thinking about Hanuman makes us think of Ram, 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 Ram. He has such an amazingly strong body, but just thinking about Hanuman makes us chant the name of Ram. What greater fortune could there be? This is Hanuman. His devotional service inspires us to believe in the power of devotional service. Faith is our superpower. The holy name is our invoking magic mantra. There is magic to be had here. Even in this material world that looks like there should not be any magic here, there is magic. It is hidden, nestled within the spell book of Srimad Bhagavatam. Right? We're always looking for this fantasy book. It is there in Srimad Bhagavatam. It is there in Chaitanya Charitamrita. And it is absolutely available to us right here, right now, today. All we need is a little faith. And if we can't find that faith, we just find someone who has faith and become friends with them. That's all. Thank you so, so much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Shri Ramachandra Bhagavan ki jai. Pavanaputra Hanuman ki jai.
Jai, thank you, Acyuta, Gopi, Devi, dasi. Wonderful class. If there is something standing in the way between you and Krishna, go an extra mile and you'll be situated like Govardhan Hill in devotional service. Nicely. Thank you very much. That's my personal takeaway from your beautiful presentation, Acyuta, Gopi. Thank you very much. So we'd like to go a little bit over time. It's Saturday. If anyone of you would like to share or reflect or ask a question, now is the time, dear devotees. Let's do it. Hare Krishna.
There are so many monkey emojis popping up in the chat. I'm here for it. I love it. It's like the best use of this monkey emoji anytime. I feel like it makes me think about Hanuman.
Yeah. And Vrindavan. Monkeys run Vrindavan, right? Like you said.
They do. It's true. They are the true bosses of Vrindavan. You've got to ask permission from Gopeshwar Mahadev and the monkeys in order to enter.
Yeah.
Jai,
Dear
Bhima,
devotees. Yeah,
please.
Bhima. Yeah, Bhima.
Well, can you hear me?
Yes.
I had a Hanuman deity when I first joined the movement back in the 80s. Can I be heard okay?
You're good.
Yes. Okay. Because it's storming where I am. He was a little 2-inch brass Hanuman deity, and I had a little altar for him. And at that time in the 80s, we were on Sankirtan, what they called Sankirtan, which was basically living in a van with 2 other brahmacharis and traveling at 108 miles per hour. And I'm not exaggerating, 108 miles per hour across the nation. And going to big events, etc., and raise funds to buy the hundreds of thousands of acres and temples and everything like that. But anyways, I had a Hanuman deity which I worshipped like a pujari, on the road. And one time, I'll tell you a quick story. One time we were sleeping in the van. It was in the south. It was very hot, so we left the doors. We were in a hotel parking lot. We left the doors of the van open to get some air. It was very hot, like 90 degrees even at night. And in the night, we all woke up, 3 brahmacharis in a van. There was smoke in the van, and we woke up and we just like tried to find the source of the fire and everything. And we looked over, and it was Hanuman's curtain on his altar was on fire. And it was because a thief was looking in the van in the night using a lighter to reach into the van to see, and he had actually grabbed the money out of 2 of our jeans that we had draped over one of the seats. And when he was using the lighter to look around the van, he had lit the curtain on fire of the Hanuman deity thing. So we were woken up by Hanuman, and we managed to grab the jeans out of the thief's hands, and he ran off into the Florida night. But I had Hanuman for many years until I got married, and Hanuman was like, "Well, you're not a brahmachari anymore, so you don't need me," and he disappeared. But that's my Hanuman story. I used to chant in front of him like a madman for the power to rescue Lakshmi Devi. That's how we used to see it. We used to view that we were on a Lakshmi Devi rescue mission. So when we would go out there, we would go out as if in battle, but we never went out onto the battlefield without, and I'm telling the whole truth and nothing but the truth. And that is, we would never leave that van until 16 rounds were done. Strict
Right.
17 sitting still, or if we had to, taking walk up and down parking lots. 16 rounds, and the amount of mystic power, the amount of power that we got to complete our service was, even looking back on, and any Sankirtan devotee can tell you, was incredible. You can't even imagine what the magic is when you really settle into the Maha Mantra and realize that Krishna is the magic behind all your endeavors, especially in devotional service. So Jai Hanuman, thank you, Acyuta Gopi. Wonderful storytelling as always. And Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. What a beautiful pastime. Thank you, Jai Hanuman. And Bhima Prabhu, may your devotional service be as immortal as Hanuman's himself. Jai. That is my prayer today. I pray that Ekadashi Devi blesses with this benedict. If I have any prayers and good wishes, may your devotional service become immortal along with you. Jai. My big little sister, Kamaniya Devi.
Haribo, my little big sister. I miss you so much. You're so wonderful. Thank you so much. I wrote my question down. I'm just so inspired by your encouragement of not caring what others think. And I love your New York City analogy, because it's so true. Everyone is a little strange there. So even the Hare Krishnas don't stand out. I miss that about New York City. Yeah, that you're encouraging us to be like Hanumanji and not care what others think, and still continue to endeavor forward in our devotional service. So I'm wondering, what words of wisdom, what insight can you share with us to empower us during those times that others might misunderstand the intentions behind our service. I know that's something that you have also had to deal with.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I just on Ram Navami, we had a home program, because if anyone knows my family, it's quite large, and if we all gathered together, it's the equivalent of a small temple program anyway. So we were home and we had a small home program, and I wrote a skit for the kids because the kids told me that they wanted to perform a play. I asked them what play they wanted to perform. I said, well, what do you want to do? They said, we want to do the story of Hanuman and Lankini. Hanuman and Lankini is a very short story. Hanuman arrives in Lanka and he sees there's someone there. And he says, who are you? She says, I am the guardian and presiding deity of Lanka. My name is Lankini. I've been guarding this city for as long as it's been around. Who are you? He says, well, I'm Hanuman. I'm the servant of Sri Ram. I'm the messenger of Ram. I was looking for Lanka. Here I am. She says, you insignificant criminal monkey. You are stealing in here in the dead of night like a thief. How dare you? And he says, I'm not a thief. You're the thief. You're supporting Ravana, who was definitely a thief. He stole another man's wife. You're supporting a real criminal. I'm on the side of God. And so she says, today I will devour you. No one can get past me into this city. And she runs and she slaps Hanuman in the face. Hanuman, my Guru Maharaj tells this story. And he says Hanuman just kind of gently punches her in the chest. He doesn't really put any real force behind it. And she goes hurtling down to the ground, falls unconscious. She gets up and she's still shell-shocked, wind knocked out of her, everything. She says, oh, Hanuman, Lord Brahma told me a long time ago that once a monkey would come and punch me and I would fall down to the ground, and I should know that that monkey is Hanuman, and I should know that my time for guarding Lanka is over. Lanka will be vanquished. Lanka is bound to fall. Oh, Hanuman, may you be successful in your mission. Jai Hanuman. She becomes a devotee. Guru Maharaj says that Lankini represents a confused and bewildered mentality of others when they misunderstand us, when they accuse us, when they falsely accuse us in regards to our devotional service. And sometimes we can find that this mentality happens with outsiders. Sometimes we can find that that mentality happens even within our own families. Sometimes this mentality happens even with other devotees. And so Guru Maharaj says that how did Hanuman overcome this confused mentality of Lankini? With his firm conviction. He had firm conviction and faith in Sri Ram. And so sometimes we have to have firm faith. Who is my Lord? Who is my master? And how has my master blessed me? Advaita Acharya had such firm faith and conviction. Srivas Thakur had such firm faith and conviction. And there were other people in Nadia, in Navadvip, who said, oh, Srivas, you're ruining the town. Better that we break up your house and throw it into the Ganga. We had such firm faith in Krishna, in Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and in the holy name. And so we have to develop this firm conviction to continue going, because our mission is bigger than the misunderstandings. Srila Prabhupada was often misunderstood, and he says it. He says, so many people in India misunderstand me and my mission, and they've accused me and they've criticized me because I've given Brahmin initiation to Westerners and women and all these different things. He said, but he said this idea of Varnashram Dharma based on birth has spoiled the whole Vedic culture. He said it has to be based on our actions. Srila Prabhupada had such firm conviction and firm faith that his mission was bigger than the criticism. He continued on, no matter what. Despite heart attacks, health problems, people in his own mutt misunderstanding him, criticizing him, misunderstanding his intentions grossly. So we have to understand for ourselves, what is our mission? And then we have to have that firm faith and conviction to continue on with that mission. And so the kids performed this drama, and that was the lesson of the drama that Guru Maharaj gave. So I find it so appropriate and on point that you asked this question, because that is absolutely a question. What do we do? when others are misunderstanding us. We can't punch everybody, right? We can't punch other people who are misunderstanding and falsely accusing us, but we can have firm faith. We can continue, and we can understand that the Lord absolutely will be protecting us, just as the Lord protected Srivas, Adwaita, Srila Prabhupada, Hanuman. The Lord will protect us and empower us. Yes, we can't punch other people's, and we can't punch ourselves. Like, we can't beat ourselves up for being criticized. Even Krishna was criticized and incredibly misunderstood. He says it. He says, the lesser intelligent deride me when I arrive in my forms, and they tell me I'm nothing. I'm just an ordinary man. I can't possibly be the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna's own mission was grossly misunderstood. We have to know that it is coming. It is part of the pastime. And then we have to know that our mission is much bigger than that. We have to be Krishna conscious because there is magic there. And we have to make others Krishna conscious. Despite all of the things and all of there are unlimited things to argue about, even in Krishna consciousness. But we can gather together and we can talk about the things that we agree upon. That Krishna is wonderful, that Krishna's pastimes are wonderful, and that we can have faith that in discussing these pastimes again and again and again, even when we think, no, but there are real problems. You can't just sit around discussing Krishna's pastimes all day. There are real problems to solve. Excuse me. That is the only solution. Srimad Bhagavatam says that by giving oral reception over and over and over again, that is the only way to extinguish the fire of lamentation. There are unlimited things to argue about, but we can all agree that Krishna is wonderful. Let us take shelter of these pastimes. Even when we think this is not solving my problem, the more we read the pastime, the more it will solve the problem. I was feeling that way, dejected and grossly misunderstood. And I did not think when the kids asked me, let's do Hanuman and Lankani, that I would find that solution. But in listening to my Guru Maharaj tell this story and then give the exact solution that I was looking for in my heart, I know Krishna is real. So when we focus on all of the things that there are to argue about, we will spend our lives in that state of mind. But when we say, okay, there are a million things to argue about, but let's go to Shastra. Let's beg mercy from Srimad Bhagavatam and see how Bhagavatam reciprocates with us. Then there is magic. It is a spell book, and there is magic. Krishna's pastimes can absolutely extinguish the fire of lamentation, illusion, and distress. Krishna promises. So I promise. I hope that answered the question.
Thank you, Kamaniya, for the wonderful question, and Acyuta Gopi for the wonderful answer. Bhakta Hugo, you were leaning towards the screen. Were you intending to glorify Krishna? Yeah. Or just oral reception today? Either way is fine.
I was just orally receiving, but now you said my name, so I have to say something.
Jaya.
Hare Krishna, Hanuman, Jai.
Hanuman.
Wow, we'll like his gear.
I was, I have to admit, in the course of this lecture, I always think, whenever we talk about Lord Ram, if we talk about it with enough faith, Hanuman says he will appear. And I was thinking, I was like, Hanumanji, I've been talking about Lord Ram, I've been talking about you, I've been praying, just appear. But I feel as though maybe you didn't appear. And so Jamuna Jaya turned on her camera just to show me that Hanuman says, no. don't be so silly. Of course he appears. And, I don't know how I can think that because I have my own Hanuman that kind of he chills out. He was here anyway. Because I couldn't give this lecture without having Hanuman present. And once I was speaking in Rishikesh, and I was telling Hanuman stories and Ram stories to friends because there are so many temples there dedicated to Lord Ram. And we were on a balcony of a random resort place. And as I'm telling the story, and as we get into Ram Lila, and we are speaking about the glory of Lord Ram and the wonderful pastimes of Hanuman, a monkey comes by the balcony door and just sits and listens for a long time. And he peeks a little head in. And we sang to Lord Ram, and this monkey just listened. And then when we were done, the monkey left. And so sometimes I'm always on the lookout for the magic. And that is my prayer today on this Ekadashi. I want to be on the lookout for the magic, the mysticism. I'm ready. Krishna, you are the master of all mystics. You are the master of all magic. I'm ready. I'm on the lookout for the magic. We've done the things. I now have the faith, and the magic is going to come. Thank you, Jamuna Jaya, for giving me such faith that Hanuman did actually. He's here. Oh my God, he's so cute. And he's so big. I love him, and his tail is so beautiful. How glorious. Thank
I
you.
actually have two of him.
No way.
We have the other ones too high on the shelf. I'm getting it right now. We had them at the Bhakti Center gift shop a long time ago, and I bought this one because I just couldn't. And then when we were sort of breaking down the shop, there was another one. He's more white.
Mhm.
And Doyal Garanga was like, nobody was buying. He said, Jamuna Jaya, you take it. I was like, so I actually have two.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
He's wonderful. Thank you for your class. I like Hanuman has just been a thread throughout my entire life. Before I knew anything, I would always be attracted to the picture. And I was like, what's the deal with those pictures with the monkey and the mountain? And he, like, what is the deal? And then I always find him in everything. Just yesterday, I was reading the Narada Bhakti Sutras, and this thing about service being immortal was right there in the passage that I was reading. And I have the shirt that says Hanuman is my own boy, as you, I believe, because I really do. And this thing about Govardhan Hill, I knew, but I hadn't remembered. And I was just at Govardhan Hill. So just feeling so connected to this great soul. So thank you.
Mhm. If there's one thing that is everywhere, if there's two personalities that are everywhere along Govardhan Parikrama, it's Lord Shiva and Hanuman. They are everywhere along Govardhan Parikrama. There is no bhakti without the protection of Mahadev and Hanuman. It is so palpable. You feel it, and you know they are helping you through your devotional service. So we can call upon these great souls. We should be calling upon all of this assistance whenever we feel weak or we feel like we can't keep going. Oh, Hanuman, help. You were able to do anything. You didn't feel tired, no hunger, no thirst, no nothing. You were able to do everything. Please help me. You know I just want to serve my Lord. And I mean, this is for another day, but maybe next Ekadashi will continue. It'll just be 2 Ekadashis dedicated to Hanuman, because there are so many. I wanted to dive into Brihad Bhagavatamrita and the many places that Hanuman shows up there. It's just Hanuman's prayers. And whenever Hanuman speaks, everybody sits up and listens. Even in the 5th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Hanuman is there. They go and they take a journey to Kimpurusha Varsh, where Hanuman still eternally resides. So I am always giving such glory and admiration to Sri Hanuman. You cannot help but love some of these personalities. You cannot help but love Hanuman. He is such a celebrated hero. I've never seen a pastime where the devotee is almost as much of the hero as the Supreme Lord himself. In some places, people will know Hanuman more than they know Sri Ram. Like, that's it. All we need is Hanuman. And this is the glory of devotional service. This is the glory of chanting the holy names. As Bhima Prabhu was saying, when we really drop in, there is such power and potency. Srila Prabhupada promised, you just chant your 16 rounds, you will be firmly protected. Everything will be given to you if you just chant 16 rounds. And that is an adjusted amount. Incredible how Srila Prabhupada was able to invest the potency of even chanting 64 rounds into just chanting 16. Srila Prabhupada did that for us. How incredible. How incredible are these saints? And we know them. We can call out to them for help, and they will help. They will
Yeah,
communicate.
Bhima Prabhu would have never left his van if it was 64 rounds.
Yeah. But he had service to do. He wanted to rescue Mother Sita. He wanted to go bring Lakshmi back to Sri Ram. And this is how, as children, we've always been taught to think about money. And Nandi was a great, like, Hanuman Bhakta. All the kids are Hanuman Bhaktas when they're little. And I feel like they should always continue to be. Because Hanuman is so kind and so generous, so sarcastic, so mischievous, but so kind and so generous and willing to relate to all of us who feel like we don't quite fit in, like we might be a little bit weird or outsidery. Hanuman is our friend. Krishna knows. Krishna's mother Yashoda would sometimes tell Krishna, "You're so restless. Why are you so restless? You are so fond of the restless monkeys that I feel like you're one of their family. Oh, beloved of the monkeys, just sit down for a little while." She would call him Vanara Priya. Oh, beloved of the Vanaras, you're so restless like a monkey, just sit down for some time. And sometimes Krishna would not heed his mother's words, and sometimes he would take that as an insult. "Oh, mother, Vanara Priya, you call me? You say I'm just like the monkeys? How could you?" And so sometimes Mother Yashoda thinks, let me stop calling my child this, because now he's saying, "You think I'm just like the monkeys? Well, then I'll go off to the forest and live with them." And what Mother Yashoda knows about her restless son is that he is so stubborn that he just might do it. And so sometimes she thinks, okay, let me lay off on the Vanara Priya to make her point. But this is our Lord. He loves all of us misfits. He loves the misfits the most. And so the more that we decide not to fit in, the better it is for us. Jai, jai, jai.
Thank you very much. It's 8:30. Acyuta Gopi Prabhu, wonderful 1.5 hours of your association. I feel very, very eager to serve Krishna, and I'm not afraid to be a weirdo anymore. That's it. And I encourage you all, dear devotees, don't be afraid to be a weirdo if that's necessary for your devotional service. If that's necessary to serve, grow a tail, grow facial hair, no problem. Right? If that's what's necessary to serve, go for it. Thank you very much, Acyuta Gopi. Very inspiring class.
All the
Very
best
nice.
people, all the best people were weirdos. Jesus was a weirdo. Rumi was a weirdo. Okay? All the best people were weirdos.
Nice. It's just morning weirdos club. Srimad Bhagavatam weirdos. Okay. Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, everybody. We love you all very dearly. Thank you, Acyuta Gopi. Thanks everyone for attending and participating so actively, for your emojis, for your hearts, for your plushies, Jamuna Jaya, for your smiles.
Jai
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Radhanath Maharaj. Hare Krishna.